morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone. This is the USP party. This is a winning team. This is my team, the US party. We are going into election. A lot thought that we wasn't making it, but we are here today, marching, going to Parliament so we can present our winning list. Hey! So basically the vision of the United St. Martin Party is that we are going to present our plan, our country plan, which will consist of many terms, many duration of how we're going to execute the plan. The vision, the overall vision of United St. Martin Party is that we're going to make St. Martin a better place for everyone, not for a selective group, but for everyone. We're going to raise the standards of everyone, the living conditions. We're going to focus on employment. We're going to focus on benefits. We're going to focus on the pensioners, on our children, which is the generation of this country. We're going to fix St. Martin for them, not for us as a country, but especially for our children. That is important that we leave something that they are proud of. And therefore, our plan consists of layered approach, not what everybody has been doing so far, layered approach with hypothesis where we can analyze and execute with effective solution. We're not only going to be talking, but we're going to be executing. This party is about execution. We're not talking. We have been proven already that we do what we say and we say what we do. And that's what we're going to do. In a very organized and streamlined manner, we are going to raise the standards on country St. Martin for one and for all. I am Pamela Gordon-Carty. I am #1 on the USP list, and I am the leader of this dynamic and powerful party.
Greetings to the population of St. Martin. It's that time of year again. It's election time. Election cycle is here. It's election 2024. Ironically, this is the 10-year anniversary of the USP. We were established in 2014. 2024 makes 10 years that we have been in existence. Our track record speaks for itself. For all the doubters, we are here. We are led by Pamela Gordon-Carty, a dynamic leader. She has 10 strong soldiers behind her, and we plan to work and execute for the people of St. Martin the way we always have done. Our track record speaks for itself. There's nothing that anybody can say that we haven't done. We have done it all. And
Bonsoir à tout le monde. I'm going to start it in French. I know I have to start it in French. So, je dis bonsoir à tout le monde. Bonsoir à tous ceux qui nous écoutent dans leur voiture, chez eux, au coin avec un téléphone. J'espère que tout le monde a eu un bon week-end. Tout le monde a été sage, on veut dire sage, et tout le monde a été prudent sur la route. So, you guys, and good night to everybody. And I hope everybody had a nice weekend. Everybody behaved themselves. And, you know, tonight we start, everybody start the political show. You know, we don't start. We had it long time. We just know we have to bring the mic to those leaders of parties, those young candidates. That's we job for, I think, at least the month of December, yeah, until January, because that's a long campaign. Yeah, that long campaign. So, Gerald, with you tonight, and I have the pleasure tonight to have, sometimes you bring young politicians behind the mic doing campaign, and tonight for all the politicians from that side, election at that side, I will have a host, Mrs. Boira Jadet Gomes. And so you go. I know. I know it first way. So that's my course until the night of election. We promise to be in the house to watch the figures and this. And my guest tonight is Mrs. Pamela Gordon Cathy. I hope I see the name good. She's a former Minister of Public Health, Social Development, Labor, and VSA, and how they say it. We're going to come to that. And the main important thing, she's the leader of United St. Martin Party, USP. So since 21, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we just like FBI inside here. So that's my guest tonight. We will talk the election, why she contested this election, and what USP is proposing, because we know back then PSP, that was USP is a party with either like propose a lot of things, and we're gonna know tonight what this party proposing to St. Martin people, and I bet is good things until the people decide who they want. So before I go far, I have to turn my mic to my co-host, because when it's the first night and this afternoon, you guys have to see which feeling before we went to the show. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Gerald, for having me as a co-host for this outside election. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Welcome. Okay. If I see she getting red, it's normal. It's normal. If you see she getting red. So tonight we'll talk about politics until we're done. Mrs. Garden, how are you? If I could call you Mr. Garden. Okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
If I thank you. How election start with you? Because we see post election day, you was like, listen, I know where I going, I come for that, so I better be real.
Yes. Basically, it has been a while that you sit on the side seat and analyze and everything for yourself as a citizen as well, yeah, as a resident of the country. You analyze certain things, and in order for you to bring change, sometimes you have to be part of it. So, to that extent, I've decided that if you want to see certain changes done, it's best to be in the midst of it and not expect others to do it for you. So yes, I'm not happy with certain things that is happening in the country, and I have a different perspective on how things could go better. So to that extent, when I was a minister as well, I have seen and I have experienced certain things, and there's always room for improvement. So based on that, I say, you know what? I think I'm going to take this challenge and be part of the change for the children, which is including my children for the country.
So we as young people, you have a question for Mrs. Garden? Because we're young, and I think she have a question. Watching your leg, but
yes, we have a lot of new voters.
Yes.
And I would say don't know you as yet. Can you please present yourself?
Yes, I'm Pamela Carty. I'm born Carty. I'm married Gordon. My family is from Colby, Well Road. I'm from Anguilla. My grandmother is Christiana Webster, so she's also from Anguilla and from St. Martin, born right there in Colby. From my mother's side, I'm a Flanders.
lot of months. You from the
So I'm well rooted here in country St. Martin. I study in the States, so I did accounting. I run my own business for the past 23 years. I've never changed the name, by the way, like how you see others changing the name after the 10 years.
Okay.
For to avoid taxes, I have remained with my name all through the 23 years. I branch out in St. Martin, and I'm busy with laws with the intention to
once become a judge. Yes, so that's really my true passion. I believe in children. That's something that I really like. It has always been part of my career, looking after children, what is best for them. And throughout all my career, everywhere that I go, I always have a track record that I did something to improve or better the life of children in that country. So that's my track record. I've started from since 21 years old. I did working and studying at the same time. So sacrifices, I know what means sacrifice. I know how to relay back that information to our younger generation to know what means value yourself, value what is truthful, not what you see. It's not everything that shines is gold. And you have to relay back that information nowadays to our children because they are very much in a world that is very shallow. They do not value the things for what is the true value. And I think we have lost that touch with children when it comes to really teach them what is truthful and how to look through the entire things that is happening, all the root and things like that. So I think it's important if you as a leader is stepping up to the plate that you really take into account what it is you want for the country. What are we fighting for? And basically, we are not fighting no more for ourselves. We are fighting for the children that are coming, the next generation. So basically, you have to see what am I going to leave behind for the children. If we as adults now are having it difficult in different areas, how can we facilitate it for them for it to become easier for them? Things that you pass through as an adult or in a younger age, you don't want your children to pass through. So you always want to improve and make things easier for them because it's not going to get any easier. It's only going to get difficult, especially if you make if you do not create that opportunity or that environment where they can prosper in their own country. So I believe in that.
Mrs. Gordon, we see USP party went through, I could say, a little storm in between, and we see you guys come up to contest the election.
Yes.
Why contesting this election after, okay, the how to say that? Chillarks, how can I think they forget the party? We calling no name, who knows.
Yes.
So they have the new leader of the party. Why contesting this election? Say, listen, I going because we know we can make the difference.
Well, because basically, Mr. Gerald, everybody make mistakes. Parties make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. There is different environment, different situation, and everybody grows within that. Now, in politics, you know that everything is possible. Anything can happen with everybody. At the end of the day, what is the focus? The focal point remains the country. And with the new team that we have, which is including some of our old members of the USP as well, that believe in the party, that knows that this is the vehicle that we have to use in order for us to reach to the parliamentarian platform in order for us to bring changes. So the combination of those that were there already that have that political experience, that were exposed to the different thing in combination with the new ones that have that stamina, that have that willingness and that honesty in order to make a change, that combination is a perfect combination. It's about combining experience with the vibrancy of others that have not been how would I say touched by that political nastiness that has been going on. That is coming in with fresh ideas. That is coming in positive. That's coming in with that energy that you need in order for you to salvage the country in the position that the country is right about now. So I believe as a party, yes, we have gone through a lot of things, but other parties have gone through a lot of things as well. At the end of the day, is how do you move forward? It's not how do you end it. How have you started? Is how you end it. And for us, our goal is to be the party that is going to be a contributing factor to improvement of the country for the country of St. Martin for the children. So we want to be part of that. And our plan is very well thought out, very well put together. It's a layered approach that we have. And it's a totally different approach than what we have seen done in the past. So I believe that we have the right candidates in place with the right frame of mind, the right character, and the willingness. Because in political arena, you need to have the willingness to bring change. Because if the willingness is not there, if the honesty is not there, and if you do not have people that have the common sense as well, in order to understand different things of the situation that might present itself, then it's going to be a very hard way to walk. So I think, and I believe, I know 100% that the candidates that they have right about now, we are a team, we work as a team, and this is a team that is going to really open up the mind of all the others that are there. We are willing to work for the betterment of the country. For us, it's more about how can we best suit ourselves with other political parties that have the best interests of the country at heart. Track record speaks for itself as well. And USP in the past has done good for the country. Like one of the things that many people are not talking about, just like how we've done the negative, we have to talk the positive as well. And one of the good things that USP Party has started is the few credits that every small business is basically um, starting out, getting the opportunity to start out a business with. And that's an initiative from the USP Party. It's not from no other party. It's USP Party who came with that, who started it, and now it has been given a lot of small businesses opportunity, which is something that we have to also highlight that. As a minister, when I was appointed as a minister, basically I also introduced the law that our people come first in the country,
Yes.
which is something that is normal in my country. And where I was born in, and that you find that when it comes to workforce, you have to basically make sure that your people are able to eat in their own country. So I introduced that plan, that policy where our people comes first, and but now they have put it back in. We are planning to put it back on the table because we were working on different other laws that is tagged on to that. So we started off there, but then after that, the 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 other parties had the government had to sit, so we didn't get a chance to finalize it. But in the meantime, when it was outside of government, we continued working on the laws because we got a chance to see where are the weaknesses on the country. Gerald, you're hearing a lot of people say for many years, the country is being run on old laws, outdated laws. So we need to do something with the
Because
laws.
we comment about that lot, those. I have a question
Yes.
about it, but we can come after. I have a question about it because we can leave the question for after. So Mika,
No,
oh no,
I-
Mrs. Garner, we know you have the business, you work in the business, you don't meet those business.
yeah.
We know this campaign, and we see the minister or going minister about the minimum wage. You see increase today because I had other politicians during the year and say
Mhm.
minimum wage is something, but you have to see this, you have to see that. Today, how do you see, or do we need to carry up the minimum wage from the other side? Because life getting hard, and it's not 20 years ago. Before you could have bought, I think, a bread 25 cents. Now you need some supermarket. If you don't have $1.25, after depending on what kind of bread you want to eat.
Yeah.
So your USP party, how do you guys carry this minimum wage business?
Again, it's a layered approach. When you're talking minimum wage, you have to talk from a perspective of what is the revenue that is being generated on the country. You have to look at that. You have to look at the cost of living.
Okay.
What is the real cost of living limit of a person? When you start analyzing that and you compare to what is the minimum that a person can have a livable life according to all the humanitarian laws, which is Article 73, Article 71, and 75 of UNICEF, it stated that a government must make sure and make all provisions that everybody can live a decent life. A decent life meaning that they are able to feed themselves, feed their family, that they can live a social, peaceful life, at different standards that they consider to be minimum. Now, if that with your wage, it's not possible for you to do like covering the rent and buy the food and pay your utility bills and make sure to cover for your children, then basically you are not living according to the standards. So what needs to be done, and that's why we from the USP party have a district approach. A district approach means that every district must be in compliance with minimum standards in the sense of each district must have bakery, library, schools, supermarkets, agriculture, minimum things that you consider that covers for all the different age groups, which is the children, the elderly, the well-being of our school, the youth. So everything is covered within that district approach. When you have a district approach, you have a better control and management of each district, where you can also evaluate what is the problematic within each district, because every district have different weaknesses, because you have agglomeration of particular type of people that always goes together. It is something human and natural. They goes together where they feel comfortable and things like that. So you have, for instance, that maybe the poverty in a particular district is higher, but because of a particular reason. Then you have in another district, the poverty might be high as well, but for a different type of reason. And then you have to tackle a different type of ways. But it's important that what when we I'm talking minimum wage, that we first lay the grounds in a district approach, and analyze if the minimum way of living is achievable within each district, and then based on that, we carry it up. No, before carrying up a minimum wage, you also have to check and see how much is the people then that we are importing from overseas bringing in into that we are bringing in. Why? Because most of the times you find that people that are on the country itself, they are contributing into the coffers. But those that we are bringing in to work, they are not directly contributing, because sometimes they bring them and they stay illegal in the country. So they do not have direct contribution into the coffers. So based on that, you're already losing on revenues as a country. You're already losing. So basically, they cannot analyze in perfection how and what will be the minimum that is required or that a country can cover. Because remember, a government will have to pay what they call in Dutch they call it the understand. It's when you're helping the
Okay.
welfare.
Yeah.
There's a minimum that also you have to contribute. How do you calculate that? They calculate it based on the workforce, all those that are contributing into the coffers as well. But if we have a lot of businesses that is bringing in having these illegal people employed, then basically that percentage also have to be evaluated, because that's the percentage that we are losing and gaining into our coffers. So there are different scenarios that you have to calculate in order for you to determine, is it possible and is it feasible that the government can carry the livable wage to this amount, and how are we going to be able to let's say fund it, because we need to know what percentage of the population can the government basically contribute with welfare. How are we going to fix that situation, because you do not want them to continue in that situation. You want to create jobs for them to continue working, and in order for that to take a less burden off of the government. On the other end, you also have to control those that are coming in. Are they coming in and going back out? Is the monies that are being created here, are they going out without leaving anything? So it's a lot of things that have to be determined in order for us to reach to something that is feasible, that the government can continue, let's say, contributing into it.
Okay.
So it's something that can be done, but there's tasks that has to be done before anything.
Okay. That was about the minimum wage. Any question?
Yes, you talked about creating government creating jobs. What USP is planning when it comes to creating jobs on island?
We have many ways that we're going to create jobs. Like the layered approach that I'm talking about, we are talking about, there's three ways that we're going to approach the control, or basically the managing of the country. There is low hanging fruits, which we consider to be solutions within 2 years. And there is the short term, which is 2 years to 5, and there is long term, which is 5 years and up. Why? In that section, in that particular division, because there are certain things that take longer for them to really materialize. There is more work that entails into it. There is more laws, and then you have to pass amendments and things like that. But also, mentality of people is something that plays a role. The education of the people plays a role as well for you to get them in order in the point at the point where they pull, just like how you're pulling, that they pull together with you. That as a country, everybody pulling the same direction. So education sometimes takes some time, and therefore it can prolong the effectiveness of a solution being complete. On the other end, you have that, for instance, the shorter or the low hanging fruits are things that they are right there. It's just a little tweak is what they need, and the right person in the right place for them to get executed. But at the end of the day, when you look at the district approach that we as USP is planning are planning to execute, it gives the opportunity that even those that are unemployed, especially those that are 40 years and up, that there is no particular reason why businesses are not taking them on, but their age. We are creating opportunities that they can still flow back into the workflows. Like, for instance, one of the laws that we have presented is basically also covering this, which is the bread law. The bread law entails basically, I know you have a question about it, but just for me to, just for me to, come with a very clear example. We have a lot of Chinese supermarkets, and that's on both sides of the island. We have a lot of Chinese supermarkets, and basically their main focus as a supermarket is supposed to be selling of goods, selling of groceries, vegetables, and things like that. But you find out that they are also doing bakery. So that's another sector within the industry itself that they have it included into the supermarket. And baking is something that is originally from us, from the country itself. So you would like to continue identifying your country, make sure that that culture, that identification of a human being from St. Martin, that it is still there. You want to make sure that the culture of the country is still safeguarded in one way. And baking of bread is something that is very important for our people. And most people, if they cannot work, they definitely can bake. Most of our St. Martiners, that's something that they teach in from home. Your mother baking, you will know how to cook. Certain things is just from us. And you need to protect those because it's something that person, if they lose a job, they can easily switch it into that and still be able to generate money for them to feed their family. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is about. So the bread baking law is basically to create that opportunity to take it out of the supermarket. Supermarkets can continue baking the pastries and all of those things, but the baking of bread, we want to take it out and leave it for our 40 process, and even working in combination with the younger ones, that when they come out, that the young ones can continue. So there are many things that that's one of them. And at the same time, the businesses are not being affected because they can still stay with the infrastructure. We're not going to put them through that hassle that you're going to break them down. Or you can continue doing all your other pastries, for the baking of bread, leave it in the hands of our people. I believe that certain things have to be protected for our people in the sense of there is always room that if somebody fall out of the crack because of different things that has nothing fixed yet, that they can still move in and continue. And bread baking is one of them. At the end of the day, you have the agriculture that also is one of the sectors that I'm very passionate about.
Questions.
Yeah. The agriculture is something that I'm very passionate about because I believe that countries and is the right place to do agriculture, especially when you continue using the word cup. The word cup means that you're actually serving as a hub in the many areas and sectors. And agriculture is very backwards on the country St. Martin was. It should not. It should, at this point in time, it should have been something that is a second revenue stream for the country. And with the agriculture, there's so much job opportunities within that sector. It's not only the farming, but it's the byproducts that come out of agriculture. And also it contributes one time into the health of the people, which is important because we know the country St. Martin, There's a lot of people that is suffering from cancer, a lot of people from diabetes. And if we start just doing the agriculture on our own, there is so much byproducts that come out of agriculture. If we start having like again the district management, we can have that particular districts have, for instance, a plantation of only papayas, let's say for instance. One other district have only soursop. You know, like a concentration of a particular fruit or vegetable that is a contributor to the well-being of against cancer or cancer fighting properties. Then we can also have an industry within that that produces the different type of byproducts from it that the hospitals can get directly fresh fruits and veggies from the plantation itself, instead of those that are coming in with a container that are injected that doesn't have the nutrients no more. You know, our elderlies also need these type of things. You can also make sure that the supermarkets buy directly from the people that from here, from the local farmers, and also protect that as well. That making sure that they get the produce out, and also that all the industries that comes with it. Exactly. And you have even, I take it even further because you can have also laboratories, labs that basically, because I'm visiting that as well, the paracetamol bush, you can make the original pills out of it, which don't have no side effects on the people and all of those things. I think people, a lot of people have been looking at TV, watching TV, and you see sometimes it does come with a ad where it says, if you take this medication, it's good, but it has this and this and this and this side effect. So these are things that you have to look at. And if you want to fix one problem, do not create another problem. And I think agriculture is something that is, if it, once it gets introduced, you will create a lot of job opportunities. You will actually be, be making St. Martin a hub as it's supposed to be. And also, you will enhance the agreement between the countries, the region, within the region itself, because you can do many exchange of things. And also, you can make the country in a way a healthier country, a healthier environment. You know, so there is so much that can come out of agriculture. We have the perfect plan for it. I believe that this is something that is going to create jobs one time because we have the land. We have the land, we have the people that are willing to give out the land, that wants to see the land being used for something good, you know, instead of just buildings, buildings, buildings.
We just talk about agriculture, young people. How USP see young people? Because you know we're gonna have to put it so young people, sports and the training, because we know we have training for them, but after the training, what we do. So how USP see the I know, and back then when I'm more younger, when you guys had some big billboard, okay, that gonna be so we want the auditorium, we want the court, cricket, everything. How you guys see sport for the young people? Is it only that we play the sport just to get them busy, stay busy, or we could see move forward for sport and with them?
Yes, definitely. Sports is something, like I say, one of our key components in our plan is the children, the lower, because we have a pyramidic approach. The pyramidic approach is based on vulnerable first and then go up higher, which our lower layer is the children. And then afterwards, you have the youth, the elderly, the unemployed, the employed business, and goes up. So it's on a basis of vulnerability. So basically, when you're talking about sports, Gerald, it's something that children have um, the zest, the zeal to be very active in sports. What we have to do is make all of it available, not only focusing on the basketball and the cricket. No, some children are good in other sports as well. Yes, we do not have because it would be nice to have like in all districts that. But we have many districts have the sports facility like the basketball or maybe the football where they can play. At the end of the day, you want something that is big, where have all the sporting facilities where you can exchange, you can have tourists attract tourism being attracted because of different sports being held on an international level where they exchange athletes from overseas coming in and you going over there. So we need to have, at least on both sides, it's good for us to have that big auditorium where it have different sporting facilities prepared that our children can feel that when they are forming part of something that they are considered on an international level. Um, you have that, for instance, children, it have people that has come from overseas and they just be checking the children playing on top of the field and they just say, I want this child to go on overseas. But that needs to happen more on different other sports type. It needs to happen more. So I think if we expose and make it something that children want to be part of it because they see themselves making a future into that, that will become something attractive. Letting the children them feel that, hey, we care for you. Not everybody is academic. Not everybody will be lawyers. Some people, some children is going to make it in sports.
Yeah.
Some children have a great opportunity in becoming athletes and overseas and being recognized. Because at the end of the day, it's about the exposure. How do we expose our children to the positive things? And that's what we need to do more. The more positive things have to happen because we have a lot of our athletes here, they do not get the exposure. They go overseas, they do something good, but nobody don't know. They come back, nobody doesn't even know that something happened. And we need to pay more focus, pay more attention on those type of things and highlight those things. Just like how we highlight the negative things and go viral, we need to have a central location on both sides where we exchange this type of information. When a child from the French side goes overseas, it's still St. Martin. They need to get exposed. When one from the Dutch side goes overseas, they need to get exposed. So I believe in a regional approach, but also in an international approach. And from the school system, we need to have more interaction with our colleges and universities when it comes to the sporting facilities. So that those children that wants to continue studying, we have that link already with the universities overseas.
Okay, Janet.
Yes, I have a question. We talk about different sports, but we are seeing more and more our local children and youth involved in football.
Yeah.
So it's planning or maybe a track or something because we also see them. I don't know what's
The ring.
I don't know by the government building with cars, and then also the track. So, what are you planning for these new sports that the youth are actually taking up, and they're kind of becoming a danger on because they don't have a track, they don't have an area for them to practice or do anything. So, what is USP planning for them?
We always had that in mind. It's part of the plan. It has always been part of the plan about having a track. We have this in Curacao as well, and that's why I say you have to cater to all the children, especially if you can enhance their ability. You need to create that environment and make it safe for them. Because again, not every child is academic, not every child is have a particular view. You have to be able to remember we are human beings. Everybody's supposed to be a puzzle. So basically, you have to cater towards those as well. Yes, you have to create a sporting facility where they can execute their abilities and show off and do the different things, and create it in a way that again the exchange take place with others because overseas and in the region, these things are well known. I mean, in Curacao, right close to St. Martin, you have this things happening every month. And in April, when is the King's Day, you have those things happening, and you have a big crowd coming in. You're flying in with the bikes and things like that. So these are things that's what I'm missing in the country of St. Martin. We need to pay more attention on those things and cater to the children and make the positive come out more instead of the negative because if there is nothing for them to do, they're going to start doing these things because it's a passion that they have and nobody is really listening to them. So this is their way of showing that, hey, this is what I like or this is what I want. Yes, it's a way of rebellious behavior, but is the message behind it is what we are not getting. So we need to create those facilities in order for us not to lose our children because when there is not, when they can't do that, they're gonna start getting creative and do other stuff. And then they put themselves in a situation sometimes that we have a lot of our children die because of that too, because it's not safe. And then yeah, we have, and that's something that is part of our plan as well.
We can go down the health system,
Mhm.
St. Martin health system. How you as leader of USP see the health system? Because sometimes when you have positive way, you have negative. How do you guys see if you have something to touch or fix or
There's a lot to be touched. There's a lot to be touched from the insurance system within the health sector. There's a lot of improvement that needs to happen. Also, those that we are working with, the region that we are working with, I think we have to have more countries involved into our health system. It's not only with Panama and Colombia. We have Cuba that is a very well known to be, yes, a very well known institution that we need to work with and take them into account. And therefore, you have to change certain laws because on the Dutch side, we know that there is preference given to the Dutch when it comes to the medical sector. But I think it's time that we realize that within the region there is more similarity when it comes to sickness and how to treat your own people. It's not about discrimination or racism. We have to be truthful and honest ourselves. When we want to bring a solution, we have to look closer to home and try to see who are the closest to the type or the lifestyle that we are living. So yes, it's good to have Holland involved because they have a lot of how you say advanced treatments and things like that. But it's not always about the advanced treatment. It's about is it effective, And therefore, I believe that working with more of the countries within the region itself that has proven that they have a very high and advanced technology like Bahamas, Barbados, and Cuba. It's good for us to exchange those type of information, exchange the nursing, the doctors, Then you get the doctors from here, also broaden up their knowledge and things like that. So exchange is always good. And I believe that's something that needs to happen. We also need to prepare our own children in order for them to go overseas and prepare with the opportunity. That's why you need to have a managed approach when you are sending out your children for when they finish, not all going to come back, but at least 5 out of the 50 come back.
okay?
Because that's how you filter and making sure that certain things you still have your own within the country. At the end of the day, you want that certain positions within your country are still that you can see and recognize your own people within it because it creates a sense also of comfortability when it comes to the health sector. People want to lay down but still feel identified with who is treating them. It makes a difference in when they are healing and in the comfort. If they only see like different other type of people, that can also create anxiety. That is going to contribute to the delay of the people of the person healing. So these are other factors that you have to take into account when you are doing, your analysis or your agreement. It's not only about hey, we fall on the Holland or we fall on the France, we only want to do that. No, it's about what is best for the person within that situation. So other things that we have to worry about is the hospital itself. The hospital is a technical part where we have to make sure that the hospital can provide the different type of how would I say the different type of processes for the different type of sicknesses, care and diseases that it have out there. Technology wise, it has to enhance. It has to get enhanced, but we need to have people that are knowledgeable on working with also with the devices because that's also something that sometimes you bring in the device. It's so high tech, and if the person is not qualified, then they can have a different or wrong reading of the device as well. So it doesn't make sense to bring in a high tech and the person that is operating it does not understand because then you can do a wrong evaluation to the patient as well. So a lot of things goes hand in hand. You have to educate, and that's why I say it's a layered approach. You can't just bring in a new hospital, and then you don't have your own people to put in there. You have to import people, bring it in. You don't want that either. So it has to go privately, hand in hand. Everything has to happen. So there is a lot to be done on the health sector. But again, agriculture goes hand in hand with the health sector as well.
Janet?
Yes, many out of the questions we asked you, you talk about education.
Yes.
What are your plans for education?
Education is something nowadays we have realized that we are still very outdated when it comes to education. There is so much truth out there that is not told to our children, which will contribute to their way of thinking and their also their way of behavior. Sometimes children just behave in a particular way based on what is being taught and imprinted into them. Our children have to be taught that they are leaders, they are born leaders, and that they all of them are valuable. That there is no such thing if you are not academic, that you are more practical, that you are lesser than someone that is academic. You are who you are. You have to be proud of who you are. These are things that we have to instill because then the behavior change. And if they are more willing into or more prone into going into a certain direction, they will not feel lesser of themselves. Exactly. Everybody cannot be doctor, and a doctor cannot operate without a nurse. It's the same thing. Supermarkets need farmers because farmer at the end of the day have to sell to the super. So everybody, you have to teach them that everybody is valuable, and the educational system itself. I believe that that side have to introduce the French on an earlier age, and not in the second grade. Yes, I believe from primary school, our children, because St. Martin consists of French and Dutch side. I believe that there is room for improvement when it comes to the Dutch system. That they need to know the Dutch. Yes, I still believe they need to know the Dutch because they fall on the Dutch, but they also need to have the French because again, this is our reality. We live on country St. Martin. There is two sides to the countries. And you have people from the French side working on the Dutch side, and you have people from the Dutch side working on the French side. So I believe the more language a child can speak, the better, and more doors are opening for them. So I believe the system, the educational system on the Dutch side has to include French from an earlier age so they can interact and open up the doors and enhance also that confidence, the self-confidence and the self-esteem within a child. And also truths that are out there have to be implemented within the school system. This thing about Christopher Columbus discovered St. Martin and the islands, I believe that's a very old, everybody knows by now that that's not true.
Yeah.
It has a lot of truths out there that makes a difference when you educate yourself. Me at older age, I get to know a lot of it, and I feel so angry. I am so angry with the educational system because they indoctrinate us very wrong.
Yeah.
Indoctrinate, and you can see that they did it for a reason and with a reason to continue having us suppress and oppress. And when you know the truth, you can stand up and you can defend better because you know that it's a lie what is being taught to us. And it's time to wake up our children and teach them the truthfulness so they know the value and they can stand up because it don't reach to a point where they have to stand up for the rights. And that's what we now have to start making that room so everybody else don't come and infiltrate and continue suppressing them. So that's what I do.
Mrs. Gano, we know you know what is taxation.
Yes.
So do USP have a position to bring more young people into business? Do you guys have?
Yes.
Can we know some about it?
Of course. Yes, like for instance, when you're talking taxation, you can take it from you can take it from many approaches. Taxation in the sense of the businesses, how are we going to continue using the 37.5% on the front side and those 5%, right? 37.5%, are we going to continue using the well, we have a different approach when it comes to taxation. In every industry, in every sector, the sector consists of different type of industry. Every industry does not contribute with the same force within the revenues or the coffers of the country. And therefore, you cannot burden every sector the same thing. It have some of them are very high cash influx. It have others that are temporary. Some are very seasonal. So again, the layered approach that USP has for the different things is going to put everything in the right balance. Because you have to realize that some businesses are struggling, others are not. Some are high cash influx, some are all the year through, like the supermarkets and things like that. Even though on their end as well, you have that container is costing them a lot of money. So that's another aspect within that sector that we have to look into. But the layered approach is each industry within the sector that is contributing to the economy, give them the truthful value into contribution when it comes to taxation. The other thing that you're talking about, the young children into the businesses, it starts from school. If you have a if you are managing your country, you will know that in a particular year you have, for instance, 15 teachers that is going with pension, that will be going in pension with pension in the next 5 years. If you want to start replenish that industry, those that you send away, you need them to come back. So you already have to start contacting overseas and say, hey, I say, oh, you study here for teacher, I will need you in the next 5 years. I'm offering you with a plan. You need to have that contact, and we need to have that institution, those institutions in the different places where they can relate back to us that, hey, we have these amounts of children that come out of St. Martin that is going to finish for this and this and this and this. From our end, we send it every year stating this, for these particular sectors, we will need in the next 2 years this for this, for this, for this, for this. We need to send that information, and that channeling have to be constantly there, because constantly we have children going on. And there is constantly people, every year people have to go on pension. So once you do that, you have that structure in place, your children must get the opportunity to filter in and come and get what they have to get.
I had a question, but I think you answered it.
So let me go then. You have a last question?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Mrs. Godowy, during the campaign just that, we see MPs saying they create laws, they make laws. Some other MPs saying your laws are useful. Some others say they need money to make laws. You, who was a former minister, how do you see to put in place?
That was part of the Netherlands entities,
Okay.
which was protecting the people. Now, the reasons for taking them out, they will have their reasons, but many of those laws were protecting our people.
Okay.
So the laws that we are bringing back is laws that were there already.
Oh.
So to state that laws that we are bringing doesn't make sense, that means to say that you're not really caring for the people. Because if those laws were there already and we are just bringing amendments to it to suit the situation from now, that means to say that there is a reason why those laws were there, and there's a reason why you take them out too. At the end of the day, yes, what we can say is that laws will always have to be adjusted. Laws will always have to be presented as situation change. People behavior change. The environment, world environment change. The nation, everything change. So you have to change your laws in order for you to suit. And the laws is always as a guidance how you want the country to go, and it's also as a protection for your people. I cannot imagine presenting a law where you are reinforcing that children stop getting sexually abused is not good for the country. I cannot imagine that. If you're stating that, that means to say you do not have no plan in protecting the children. You know, everybody know people do not talk about it, but it's something that has increased on country St. Martin, and people are staying quiet about it. You know, and by presenting the law, we are basically putting it in their face, letting them know that hey, this is happening, but you're not doing anything about it. You understand? And sometimes it's good for people to be reminded that there is a problem. You want to hide it under the table, but we should not hide it. We should deal with it. Deal with it because the children are being abused. So don't do as if nothing is happening. Country is well going good. No, there is a lot of things that is not being dealt with, and we have to deal with it as much as it hurts to talk about it. We still need to deal with it because at the end of the day, children will continue being abused. Predators will continue perpetrating their act, and they will just get away with it. You understand? And that's one of the things that I definitely want to pass. This thing about the children sexual abuse, it has to stop because the way it is happening is getting to be more creative and nothing is really happening. You understand? Even the police station is saying, yeah, but what you want us to do? There is no law that we can do this and we can do that. And I mean, the government are hearing these things. If you're hearing these things, just do something on it. If you think that somebody is doing it good, then you do something about it. Don't criticize and not do it. You understand? So that's my point. That we will be continue presenting laws. You will always have those naysayers and Gerald, but at the end of the day, we are going to do what we believe is good for the country because we are not here to stay.
Janet?
You keep saying about multi-layered
Approach.
Um, we see that people are begging for change fast.
Yeah.
So after election, how fast with everything for you? How are you seeing it plan out? A year from now, when people start seeing a change, what is the plan? The term, the amount of months and years. How are you seeing?
Yeah, that's why we say that we have the low hanging fruits, which is within 2 years. You will see, you will already see based on the solutions that were approached and executed. You will already see changes because there are things that everything needs a law. You know that everything needs a law. It's just to make a tweak. It's just to do certain things, and it can get going. It have others that are 2 to 5 years, which is a short term, and the 5 years and all. So yes, within 2 years, people are going to start seeing and feeling a fresh breeze. And of course, you have to fight against the powers that may be, because at the end of the day, it will have those that want to prove that what you're saying is wrong. It can get executed because then that will highlight as well those that were there that didn't do anything. So they will have their people in different places and locations to stop the process. But that's why you have to be smart enough to know how to navigate within that rough sea.
My before last question. We know the Prime Minister said like she had, I think, 2, 3 years. She had what toy, she couldn't do everything. He had the trust fund. I just say the trust fund melee, but anyway, the trust fund problem. Today, if you was the Prime Minister when Holland come to press St. Martin, what will be your attitude towards this?
Well, there's two things, Gerald. Holland can only press if you do not have a plan for you to counteract. And that's why everybody needs to have a plan. If you believe in your plan, there's room for negotiation at the table. You know, because at the end of the day, I do not believe Holland wants to constantly be giving out money. Holland wants to see that as well that, hey, you are bringing something to the table, you are proposing something. It might not be the way they want it, but let's sit down and have a negotiation as partners. Not that you are telling me and suppressing me and telling me what to do. I have a proposal. Let's sit down and see. I need help here. How can you help me? This is going to generate this amount of money in this amount of years. I will need your help in the first 2 years for this. In this other layer, I will need your help for that. Let's sit down and have that talk, a conversation, and based on the agreement that was given, which was the core in the early beginning, which I also voiced my opinion about that. The way it was presented, it was basically telling the country what to do, but it was not taking into account what the people are facing and what are the troubles that the people are facing. It's more a one-sided approach. And that's what I feel that the Prime Minister could have done better in negotiating and talk more speaking from a point of perspective from the people towards Holland.
Last question.
Well, it's up to you.
Last question. Last
My
question.
I don't know if, but I have a question. When elected, right?
Yes.
What do you see yourself as? A member of parliament, a minister?
Yeah.
What do you see yourself?
I can work both. It all depends what the people really want. I mean, I am very vocal. I would like to see the laws in pass, and it's always good for you yourself to be there to defend your law and, to make sure that you see it way through. So I am more in tune, leaning towards that. But again, situation, negotiation present itself, and then that's, that's
That
it.
is something.
Yes, good you.
Okay, so USP already planned and okay, well, if majority of us are elected, these are the people we are going to appoint in as minister, or that will be last minute thinking. Or you already have a idea of how
We
you
have
see.
Yes, we have brainstormed and worked out different scenarios.
Okay.
We have worked it out, and the strengths of different candidates. Where do they feel themselves comfortable? What are the ministries that we are more interested in that we can see that we can execute more stuff? So we have brainstormed that, but again, negotiation is what is going to determine what
That's
is
on
the
that's
decision.
on before when I come to have a government.
I don't know about that.
We're gonna do 11.
But we
So,
have done it within USP itself alone,
okay,
not with the other parts.
okay. My last question. Do you have other question for
You have a lot of last. What is the definition of last?
me?
I don't know true. People want to answer this one,
Tell
but
me.
Well, we're not in the court, and so she answer if she want.
if negotiations, which the 11 negotiations has started, which parts you see USP themselves talking with that aligns more with USP?
So far, we haven't heard everybody their manifesto. So to give you an answer right about now is very difficult. But see, in the past, we have an idea more or less what is the direction that we're going. Is the party that is more in tune with achieving and working for the people. That will be my answer right now.
So that's gonna be the last one. Mrs. Gordon, this is the real last one. Mrs. Gordon, and January 11th. That's I think people body, my body is birthday anyway. Why St. Martin people should vote USP candidate?
Well, St. Martin have to vote for USP candidates because we are honest and truthful. We are saying what we mean and we are meaning what we are saying. Our track record speaks for itself. I think that's important, very much important, especially in the fact that we have been there, we have been talking, we have been showing and proving what is the direction we want to go. Especially when you are presenting a law. Presenting a law is not something that you just do it for the sake of the people. You take time, you analyze the weaknesses within a country, and you present a law because a lot of time goes into that. So you're presenting a law, the people already have a direction of idea of what direction the party is going. And so far, with the three laws that we have presented, which we have 19 more ready to present,
Okay.
the three laws that we have presented already showing that hey, we are interested in the well-being of the children. We do not want the sexual abuse to take place no more. We have presented the second law, which is mandatory hiring of our youth, which already is showing that hey, we are not happy with what is happening. Our youth are not getting opportunities within their own country. And the third one, which is bread law, we are catering towards the unemployment. And we have 19 more that is more into elderly, the businesses, so all the layers within the society. So I think the people should take that into account because again, other parties that are there, you're sitting in the right place for you to do the right thing. And they have not, for me personally, they have not proven themselves that they have the country's best interest at heart because your actions supposed to speak louder than words.
Thank you, Mrs. Gordon, for passing through youth radio and conversation. I hope to see you before January 11th.
Yes.
And I know Janet waiting for you, our other candidate, to ask more questions because that was the first one. So we don't know the second one. Maybe she will got 15 questions.
I will come prepared.
Okay.
But thank you for having me, both of you. It was very nice. I feel very at ease that I could express myself the way I wanted to.
Janet, last word for tonight because we back after tomorrow, and because you're gonna come for one show because after I have the So I'll leave the surprise for the show tonight. We have the afternoon. It's politics from 5 just after the sandbox week. We on with our candidate. We're not gonna see what candidate, but we're gonna leave it for when they put those on social media. And then from 7 to 9, I have the former senator, president of the collectivity, and 2003, St. Martin, not soil, the soil, listen, we're going new status. So we're gonna ask after 20 years, how do we feel? How was this point in you? So I don't know if Janet's gonna be with me, but you good? You
Well, yes, we will leave the comments on social media, tell you how I did.
okay. So folks, that's all. That was we conversation road to election. Elections the 11th of January, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys, that's we job to inform. For, not for who to vote. No, we don't do that at Youth Radio. We don't be about telling you to vote. Only one thing we do say is vote for Youth Wave. So after that. So listen, just listen to everybody and then come up, support, campaign start, everybody there. So I say that because you got a young fellow there on stage. I had to tell Cobra that new fellow singing better than Pato. Folks, be safe. See you guys jeudi. Bye bye.
Oh my goodness.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna tell me?